on or about January 2016, here in the United States, there was a shooting. It was in Arizona. It was at a hotel. And it was a white police officer killing a white individual, male. And his name was Daniel Shaver, the victim. Daniel Shaver was the husband of a wife, and he had two beautiful children. And he was gunned down in the hotel hall outside of a room that he was residing in that particular hotel. What happened was, first of all, a little back history. Daniel Shaver, 26 years old, was into pest control. Pest control meaning rats, mice, birds, raccoons, and things of this nature. And as part of the equipment that he used in his occupation, BB guns were part of his equipment. Now, while he was in this hotel in Medina, he had a couple rifles with scopes on them. And he had a couple friends, co-workers, in his hotel room with him, and he was showing off his guns. And according to an eyewitness in the room, a young lady, she said that he and the other guy were talking about how nice the guns were, and that he had stuck one of the rifles out of the window. And this got the attention of some people, and so they called the police. Upon receiving the call, the police arrived. They came to the floor that Mr. Shaver and his occupants were on. They ordered them out of the room. There was a police officer by the name of Mitch, let me make sure I get it right, Brillsworth. I think he was about 27 years old. These police officers were armed, heavily armed, with assault type rifles. And police officer Mitch, it's a difficult name, Brillsworth, again, after ordering the occupants out of the room, they narrowed it down to Daniel. Daniel was the last person in the hall. And in their mind, I guess they identified him as the person who had the weapon, or alleged weapon. So Daniel came out with shorts on and a t-shirt. They gave him many, many orders, ridiculous orders, mind you. Having him cross his feet at the ankles, raise his hands, crawl up the hallway, and the man literally was crying. He was sobbing. He was pleading for his life, asking them not to shoot him. You would have to watch the video, which is very graphic, and it's one of the worst videos of a police officer shooting someone, especially unarmed and an innocent man or human being for that matter, that I have seen in a long, long time. But it happened. And to beat all, Officer Brillsworth had his day in court, and he was acquitted. Ladies and gentlemen, this police officer murdered this man in the hallway outside of the room that he occupied. He murdered him needlessly. What was going on in his head, I don't know. But there was no clarity, apparently. He did not have presence of mind to know that that was a human being who was helpless. And he made the statement, one of the statements that he made after being questioned later, was that he felt in fear of his life and those individuals that were with him. Mind you, you have an unarmed at least from first sight. Unarmed man in the hall, on his knees, wearing shorts and a t-shirt. His hands are visible. All the police had to do, since there were several of them with the same types of weapons in the hall, all trained on Mr. Shaver, one had to come up and handcuff the man, and it would have been over. Instead, they kept giving him all of these orders as if he was in some sort of circus routine or performance. And while he's hysterical on the floor saying, "Please don't shoot me, and I'm trying to follow your commands," and so forth, he was shot 5 times and killed right there. And this police officer was acquitted. Only in America. And this just happened in 2016. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you say to this? What do you say to this type of act or atrocity? We always want to be so quick to run and protect police officers. And I'm not saying all police officers. I am saying that there are, and I've said this before and I'm going to say it again, let's make it perfectly clear, there are very good, upstanding police officers. I know some. I have friends that are police officers. But this element here, like Officer Brailsworth, where did they come from? And how do they slip through the cracks? How does something like this happen? How is it that the higher command doesn't know that these officers exist on their force? To shoot an individual so easily. I don't know what to say. It brought me to tears, literally, to see this man begging for his life and then to ultimately be shot to death. As if it never mattered at all. What do you say to this? What is your view on this case? Now, I'm going to leave the video in the section below for you to watch. And you tell me what you think, what you honestly think. And for those that want to keep wearing blinders and say, oh, they're here to protect and serve and they don't do any wrong and so on and so forth. It's been too many police killings that were needless killings of unarmed citizens. I'm not going to mention all of them because I think you know most of them. I'm out.